D.O.A. from the L.O.S, League of Shadows Preparedness Initiative. We're just trying to wake y'all up with a series of videos, man. We're going to show y'all about the bug out bag, so they call it. You could call it a survival bag. I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's just really being prepared so that you don't be scared in the time of disaster, even as simple as the electricity going out or a heavy storm. But at L.O.S, we noticed that people have been a little tense and feeling a little hopeless about some of the events that's taking place in the country right now. So we never really scared, and this is some of the reasons why we not scared. So we're gonna try to catch everybody up to speed real quick. There's 7 categories basically of items that you would need to have in this 3-day bag. We got clothing, water, food, first aid, fire, weapons, and shelter. So in these categories, we could just start off first with the clothing. We'll get that out the way because that's the bulk of the load. Now, when you prepare this 3-day bag with your clothing, you don't want to go fancy because we're going for effectiveness. So what you definitely want to have is a hat, a good hat, block the sun, keep a low profile. You know, a hat comes in handy for a multitude of things. I happen to have the Tilly hat, but we could go into depth on all of these categories in separate videos and tell you what's what and what you need to look for as far as the clothing and everything that you need to pack in these bags as far as quality and effectiveness. Now, I always pack a couple of t-shirts, underwear. You want a couple pairs, you know, 2-3 pairs of underwears because it's a 3-day bag. So I got a couple pairs of socks, a bandana. I got some swim trunks in mine just because you never know. You might need something water repellent. You definitely want to keep some thermal underwear in your pack. I know we live in Phoenix, so the threat of cold is not that great as it is in some other places, but thermal underwear will always come in handy. So you definitely want to keep some of those. I got tops and bottoms. I keep like a raincoat. You definitely want to have a raincoat. Something that can kind of repel water and also keep you warm all in one. So I keep a old kind of a little track jacket and a pair of pants. Now, you could go with jeans, but jeans are not preferable. Just cotton in general in times of survival is not always preferable. You definitely want to go with natural materials, but what's ideal is pants like these. These are from no, they're not 511 Tactical. They're true spec, but we get them from the Army surplus store. Now, these are just a tactical pant, and it's real versatile. It's got pockets. It's really set up for shooters, like government agents, you know, it's like that. We usually try to get Army equipment or like government agency equipment, and the reason being is because they seem to be some of the most prepared individuals in our country right now. And also, if you are just happen to be under threat of attack by another government or your own, you definitely want to have equipment that is compatible to theirs, at least you know, quality wise. So pants, 2 shirts, 2-3 pairs of underwears, 2 pairs of socks, preferably at least one of them not be cotton, wool, long underwear, a bandana, and we'll go into the reasons why you need a bandana. We got almost 100 uses for the bandana. T-shirts and a hat. That's what you want to have as far as clothing. And also, good pair of boots. Now, if you keep your bag in a place where you're going to be most often. So if you travel a lot in your car, if you happen to be at home a lot, you want to keep that bag where you would be liable to be in the time of a disaster. So you also want to keep a pair of boots wherever that bag is. These happen to be Nike boots, quick strike, but really all you looking for is comfortability and full grain leather. And also how this is webbed in, that's going to protect your foot from like water. So you want to go with full grain leather. I know a lot of people spend a lot of money on shoes. A good pair of boots is definitely something you want to spend a nice amount of money on, because it's something you're going to use a lot and something that's going to get you out of a tough situation. So that kind of covers the clothing. We can go to water next. You always want to have a couple bottles of water in your house or in your car, or wherever this bag is. Then you also probably want to have a collapsible source to carry that water, so it's not taking up a lot of space. We tend to go with the camel packs because you can put it in your backpack. It doesn't take up a lot of space, but it holds a lot of water. But you want to have a couple of bottles of water so that you can load it up in your camel pack. Food. I'm going with chia seeds. Now, like I said, we'll go into depth in the videos and tell you why we picking what and what would be a good pick in these different categories. But chia seeds, just to give you a quick rundown, is what the Native Americans used to travel cross country back in the day. It's one of the most nutritional seeds that you can possibly get, but it'll definitely keep you full for a long amount of time, and you only need a little bit of it. This is not this is like multiple servings right here. This is not what I pack in my bag. It's actually my stockpile, so don't think that it's going to take this much. So that's food, but definitely you want to keep MREs is a good thing you want to keep because it's easy. You just add hot water, even crackers, energy bars, whatever. You know, just something that's non-perishable that you can keep and it's going to fill you up, but it's not going to take a lot of it. Then first aid. You could go and buy a first aid kit from Walgreens. This is not a kit that I bought. It actually has items in it other than what came in the actual kit. But you basically want to have some first aid. You just think about things that could happen in the time of disaster, and you want to prepare for that, you know. So center your kit around that. It's okay to buy a pre-made kit, but you might want to add or subtract items from that pre-made kit to get exactly what you're going to need. This is another part of the first aid kit. Now this is the Bite and Sting kit. It's from Sawyer. It's only $20, but you definitely want to have one just for sting and bite extraction. We live in Arizona, so snakes are a threat, and bees are always a threat. So you definitely want to have one of those. That's a good investment, but you can't get it in the store. You want to go to Amazon.com and look for it. Then we're going to move along to fire. You always want to have a few forms to make a fire. Now, of course, we got the lighter. We got the good Circle K free matches. So when you go in the store, if you're a smoker and they ask you if you want matches, just start taking them and save them. put them in a plastic bag when you put them in your bag if you do have matches, so that if water is involved in the time of disaster, your fire is not gone. Here's a magnesium flint I like to keep too. Magnesium flint, we'll show you how to use it in a different video. These are storm-proof matches. This is also a good thing you want to have. They're waterproof and windproof, so you can get these at a sporting goods store or anything. You also, this is not really a form of fire, but it is a light source, and you also want to have a couple of flashlights, at least one, and a change of batteries. That's the thing. Always have, if you got anything, any type of tool, you want to have replacement tools or extra what it needs to operate, because you might be without an energy source. So you definitely want to pack for that. Always keep a pencil. This is a pencil you can carve out, you know, with a knife to keep the lead going. I keep one of these in all of my packs. Some paper, always. That can be handy for making a fire also. So you always want to have paper. You can shred some paper up to get tinder for a fire. So we're going to move on to the next category, and that's shelter. Now this is a poncho. You also want to have a poncho or a rain jacket in your clothing, but this is a dual use item. The poncho, you could use it for shelter by making a lean-to. You know, you lean one side to a tree and put the other side to the ground and give yourself a little triangle to keep you out of the elements. So a poncho can also be used as shelter, but I would recommend a tarp. And that's what I keep. Mine happens to be in my car right now, so I'm not putting it in the video. But I did want to show you this. This is a cheap way. A tarp is also cheap. You can get them at Walmart, AutoZone, Harbor Freight, whatever. Next category would be weapons. Now, L.O.S, you know, we swear by our weapons, so we keep a few forms of weapons. You want to have a knife, definitely. Pocket knife, multi-tool. Always in every bag, every room in the house. That's just how we ride. But you want to have a good knife. We'll get into the weapons in their own video, but I'll show you the difference between a good and a bad knife. But basically, you want to check it. If it bends and it's a foldy knife, it's not that good. So always check a knife for bending before you buy one. And that's a pocket knife. You always want to have one of those. And this will be the survival knife. And you definitely want to have one of these, a hatchet or a machete, or all of the above. Now this survival knife, ideally with a survival knife, you want to have full tang. And what that means is the blade goes all the way to the bottom of the handle. But this one that I have in my pack does not go full tang, and the only reason it doesn't is because it has its own little survival stash in the bottom. It has a compass in it, and if your knife doesn't have a compass, you do kind of want to pack a compass. We rely on GPS, but electricity is not certain in the time of the disaster. So you definitely want to have a compass, and this one happens to have a magnesium flint, a couple needles, fishing kit in it, but yours does not have to have that. A good survival knife, even, I got another one right here. This is a good example of a survival knife also. This one is full tang, meaning the blade goes all the way through. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as the one I just showed you. But you also want to have some rope. This is paracord. Get it from the Army surplus store. Always have rope. You notice that even the back of my knife has a braid that is 10 feet worth of rope. You always got to have rope. The back of this knife has rope, and this is about 5 feet. But I keep rope on everything because that's going to be one of the biggest tools in survival. And lastly, and I did this last because it's the biggest ticket item out of all of them, really. All of this stuff can be acquire for cheap. And when we do the other videos, we'll show you exactly where you can get some of these items. But this last one is a revolver, 357 Magnum. They recommend that you keep a firearm on you if you can at all times, because you never know when you're gonna need it, and you definitely don't want to be without it. It'd be a shame to have a firearm sitting at home in the time of a disaster. So if you can pack it, pack it. That's my recommendation. In the L.O.S, we practice gun control, and by that I mean we know how to control our guns, and we definitely recommend that to everybody. Now, I choose the 357 Magnum. This happens to be a Taurus titanium 357 7-shot revolver. But the reason I go with the 357 Magnum is because the bullets are interchangeable with the 38 Special and a 9mm Parabellum. So, you know, just say you are in a time of fallout or something, and having an interchangeable bullet or a gun with interchangeable bullets will definitely come in handy, because you may be picking up bullets that you find around if you're out of bullets. Firepower is gonna be it's already kind of a high commodity right now because it's scarce in the stores. So the interchangeability of bullets and the actual acquisition of ammunition is definitely essential to survival. Oh, and lastly, what we want to go over too, this is another collapsible water jug too. This is 5 gallons, but it's slim enough to fit in a backpack, so this is what I wanted to show you guys too. We'll get to that more in a different video, but this is the actual bag that I keep all of this stuff in. This happens to be, of course, a military bag, and like I said before, we usually choose to go with the military stuff because they happen to be the most prepared for any situation, and they usually use some of the best quality products and supplies. So I go with the military bag. I got 100 backpacks though. It really doesn't matter the bag, but you want to go for tightness and security. You don't want anything dangling when in a time of survival. You don't want no chains and wallets and stuff hanging around and straps of bags. You want it secure, so if you have to run, it's not bouncing on you. So you definitely want a backpack, not a purse, not a messenger bag or anything like that, unless the messenger bag is secure to the hip. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we wake some people up with this and really just get some people prepared. Don't be scared, be prepared. That's the motto. People feeling hopeless about the things that they see, and you know, people are starting to wake up more on their own, even to some of the things that the government might be trying to pull over on the people. So we definitely want to be prepared for any situation. I mean, it's just common knowledge. And all of the items that I've showed you for this bag are items that you would need anyway. So it's not like you buying stuff that you would never have a use for. This stuff is not trendy. It's never going to be outdated. You can always use it. The application is endless. So you definitely want to be taking this and putting some of your money to the side to get some of these items, man. Follow the League of Shadows, Easy Music, D.O.A, Mega Donnie and T, man, Chief Squad. Follow us, man, and we just gonna try to keep the people informed. That's what it's all about, man. If we ain't here, we can't do nothing. So let's stay here, rock with the L.O.S, man. It's D.O.A. one more time, man, signing off.